there's a full moon tonight.
The reason we are here today is to talk to you about the newly released horror film 30 Days of Night. I got to go see this last night, and the long and the short of it is, in case you don't want to let this video load the in its entirety, 30 Days of Night was brilliant. Go check it out. A lot of fun. Probably one of the best vampire films I've seen in a long time. The premise is simple. It is the story about the northernmost Alaskan town of Barrow, and its inhabitants are clearing out of the city in preparation for the seasonal winter event of 30 Days of Night, when the sun does not rise again for 30 full days. So, hence the title 30 Days of Night. But, so the story follows the sheriff of the town, Eben, as he works with a band of small survivors to try to survive a vampire onslaught that strikes the town during the aforementioned 30 Days of Night. Now, if you know anything about vampire lore, and classic lore, they are vulnerable to sunlight. Henceforth, a town that has no sunlight for 30 days would be a veritable buffet table for them. For those of you that don't know, 30 Days of Night was based on a comic book written by Steve Niles and illustrated by Ben Templesmith. And I got to read this comic in graphic novel format back in 2003, and I absolutely loved it. Come to find out, Steve Niles, the author, actually he envisioned the story of 30 Days of Night as a movie to begin with. He wrote it as a screenplay and shipped it around Hollywood for several years, but was never able to find any interest in it. So he took it and reshaped that screenplay and turned it into a comic book script, and Ben Templesmith illustrated it. There you go. Now you have a great graphic novel. Now, in telling you that the vampires are coming is not necessarily a spoiler, because, I mean, if you look at the poster, you know it's a vampire. It's a guy with sharp teeth, fangs, bloody fangs. It's a vampire, so it's not a spoiler. So next thing you know, the phone lines are cut, the power is cut, all these people are really in the dark now, and then there are vampires everywhere in the streets. It is totally insane. There is a great shot in the middle of the film when the vampires attack. It's an overhead angle, bird's eye view of the city streets, and as it moves along, you see the vampires just running from rooftops, through the houses, over cars, and they're grabbing people and just slinging them around like rag dolls. And it's brutal and horrific and terrifying, and it's a really brilliant shot in the film. All the performances in the film are very strong. Josh Hartnell, or Hartnett, whatever his name is. I'm not a 16-year-old teenage girl, so I can't keep up with all of them, but he does a good job. He does a very commendable job as the sheriff. Very believable. This is not a film that is heavy on character development. There is character development. There is character arc in the relationship between the sheriff and his estranged wife, who winds up being stuck in the town with him. And but the big thing is being trapped with him and the survivors that he encounters, and he tries to gather around and rally together to try to survive this onslaught against this attacking vampiric menace. And it just works. This film is so tense and so amazing, and there are some good gory moments, a lot of good violent action set pieces. I mean, this film worked in so many ways, and the isolated setting of being trapped in this snowed-in, ice-covered town in the dark is just creates such a foreboding atmosphere that that's what you need to have a truly effective fear film, and 30 Days of Night is exactly that. So, if you are a fan of vampire films, or even if you're not a fan of vampire films, you should definitely check out 30 Days of Night. This film is absolutely amazing. When I watched it, I was thinking, not only is this film one of the best of this year, but it's probably the best vampire film that's come along in years, maybe since Near Dark. So it's really good. Check it out. It's a lot of fun, very exciting, very tense, a lot of good suspense, a lot of good action, lot of good gore, and it's very simple, very easy to follow, and very engaging. I can't recommend it enough. Drive-in totals, I have no idea where to start. There's so many bodies ripped apart and rended, and decapitations and twisted limbs and just shredded people. It's just, I don't even know where to start. I'd have to actually watch the movie again and write it all down for you, because there are probably upwards of a good 50 to 70 effect shots of just carnage in the film, and it works on every level. No nudity or anything like that. There's no time for love, romance, or sex in this film. It's not that kind of film. And usually Streebo knocks a point off for that, but not this one. I mean, it just didn't need it. It wasn't part of the subtext of the film. This film just works to horrify and terrify us, and it does it in spades. So, on the Streebo Screamo-meter, let's pull up that graphic. Bloop, 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 bloop. Streebo gives 30 Days of Night a 9 out of 10 screams. 9 out of 10 screams. Check it out. If you like the movie, you should go and check out the graphic novel, as well as some of the spin-off series. You can see behind me there, that is a screenshot of my PC showing the main menu for the film Dawn by J. Reel from Reel to Reel Productions. That's an independent vampire film. Since I just watched 30 Days of Night, I felt like checking that out as well. I've talked to J. Reel a few times in some different online forums, and he's a really good guy, so I think that film's going to be really good. So after I get done watching it, if it is good, I'll come back and do a little mini review of it for you so you'll know. And maybe you'll check it out too. So far, we in Mutantville are having a great Halloween 2007. There are so many things going on, I can't even begin to list them. Have a lot of events planned for the coming week. Of course, we want to check out Saw 4. I'm contemplating going to see the actual Saw marathon that they're going to play the night before the release of Saw 4, where participating theaters will play a marathon of Saw 1, 2, and 3. And then at midnight, you can opt to see Saw 4 as well. The big thing I'm really excited about is getting to go see Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D, no less. It's playing in a theater in Boone here in North Carolina, and that should be absolutely fun. I can't believe that. This movie came out in 1983, I believe. So if you didn't see it then in theaters in 3D, you never saw it in 3D. I know for years there have been like pirated versions of VHS or DVD versions of it with 3D that were supposedly you had to wear these funky glasses, and it kind of worked and kind of didn't. Nobody was really saying to definitely do it. So this is, kind of a once in a blue moon kind of chance to get to see what is basically a real slasher classic. Friday 13th Part 3 should be a lot of fun. Also this Halloween, the theater, the Cast Theater, CAST, in Charlotte, North Carolina, is going to be performing rendition of the play of Dracula. Actually, you can see the poster up there. I just leaned it up there before I started just to give you guys something different to look at. And I definitely want to check that out. I don't know if, the play version of Dracula is performed on a regular basis, so I'm really excited to see that. I'm curious if it's the same play version that the actual film was based on, so that should be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, go out to theaters. Do not wait. Go see 30 Days of Night. This is a awesome vampire film. It's brutal, violent, tense, suspenseful, just nasty, horrific, very nihilistic. It's just all the things we want to see in a horror film. So definitely check it out as soon as you can. And I'll see you next time. Enjoy your Halloween.
Cannibal spiders